To live, so I'ma live it.
Good evening, Rockin' Music Reviewers. I'm your host, Jotty D, coming at you with Draven Crow, and we're just two dudes talking about music, coming to you from somewhere from the backwoods of Alberta, I suppose. And we got a good one for you tonight. Our last video was our biggest one yet, so let's make this one jump. We're excited for this one. So I'll just dive right into it. I remember hearing a single from their previous album from this one on the radio, and it became pretty big, and that's how I knew of them. And I never heard a full record, so I ended up I was at the library picking up some CDs. That's what I used to do back in the day. I'd get a whole bunch of library CDs. I'd bring them home, and I'd listen to them on my computer or whatever. And so I remember picking this one up, and I was like, wow, this one's so good. It just flows from front to back. And so that's when I realized this band was really good, and I had to share it with people. I had to let people know how great and how much I like this album. So I don't know if you want to share the story about when you heard it. I remember you were talking about when we were working together, and I ended up putting it on. What do you remember from that?
Yeah, 100%. This is not one of those albums that landed on my lap, and it came to me from you, as most of these newer albums and good music does come from a man here. Yeah, we were working together, and I think we were knee deep in -30 or something like that, trying to build some stuff, and you put this on the Milwaukee blaster there, the machine, the whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that was the first time I heard it. And honestly, the warm reggae feeling from this, the warmth from it warmed my heart while I was in -30. And that was the first time I heard it. So I don't know what year that was. I think we were talking about that. It was like, what, 2018 or something like that. It was probably the year that we checked this one out. And you put it on.
Those were my intentions.
Yeah, no,
when I threw that on, we were working at this site, and the building was fully open. I think it was snowing. It was in there half the time. It was freezing. It was very miserable. We didn't want to be there. And I'm like, oh, I gotta put some good vibes on here. We need some like island music. We need to like really change that mindset about like having to work outside and having no heat and gluing pipe together. It's not a good feeling. So yeah, so we just I put it on, and it got good vibes. There was people, trades coming in from the electricians and the framers coming by, like, oh, this is some good music, some lots of horns, lots of reggae vibes. But I don't think we mentioned it yet. We are covering the Cabin by the Sea. Just come with me to a cabin by the sea from the Dirty Heads, and I know this is a great album. You got anything?
Yeah, man. Dirty Heads. You introduced me to this band. And as soon as I heard this, I fell in love with it like immediately. This is like, we did a Sublime video and stuff like that. And this is right from the same place. This is from Huntington Beach, California, is where they're from, right? And actually, if you go into their Wikipedias and their discography and stuff like that, like their influences were Sublime. Obviously, these guys were just a little bit younger than Sublime, but they know Eric Wilson, and they met Bradley Nowell, and that's a big influence on them and stuff like that. And they're a little more progressive. This is like California reggae. We were talking about this, like how do you describe Dirty Heads, because we were talking about this is like album by album, but this album that we're going to discuss, I think is what did we come up with? Like reggae fusion, I think was the word that we discussed on this one. It's not ska, because ska is punk, and we already covered the ska punk kind of thing on our last videos. But I think we came up with reggae fusion. Is my opinion of what this album is. It's so cool. It's like extracurricular activities are in your repertoire. You're skating around, you're surfing, you're doing all sorts of California things. I think this fits right tight with the whole California vibe. It's just such a cool album. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how more to describe it. Like we were talking, like, so when I went on the interwebs and it said, what's the genre of this album? And it gave me, hold on, I'm going to give you 5 different genres that they describe this as. They say it's alternative hip hop. They say it's acoustic rock. They say it's rap rock reggae, reggae fusion, reggae rock, and ska. Like, whoa, how many things can you be described as a band, right? So I think for this album, for me, this is reggae fusion. This is California. This is skater, surfer, just California reggae to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just like album to album, like you're talking about. If you listen to other albums of theirs, more hip hop comes out of it, I'd say. This one
Yep.
on YouTube is labeled as an American reggae band, but if you look at what's labeled on their other albums that are a little newer, it'll say some hip hop fusion, something along those lines. But I encompass all this like around uh probably California reggae. That's what I'm leaning more towards. They have a lot of reggae vibes. They got the horns, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's not really any punk in there, so yeah, I wouldn't call it ska at all. It's not like the
Yeah,
last
no
review
ska.
of Goldfinger. So it's standing on its own, and it is different than Sublime as well. Even though Sublime has hip hop and everything inside that fused together with reggae, but they got their own sound. So it is interesting. You probably won't find another band that sounds like the Dirty Heads, having 2 singers going back and forth, which is always interesting, and 2 rhythm. No, sorry, 2 drums. They have 2
Mm-hmm.
drummers, but a lot of them percussions, I guess you would say. One of them is doing bongos while the other one's doing something else. And they could be both playing 2 drum kits at the same time, or 2 forms of drum kits, always changing it up for different songs, which is very interesting. They have a very unique acoustic set and acoustic album, showing their talents in the acoustic realm as well. But yeah, album has great flow. And if you look at
Great.
some of the playthroughs, like I don't know the stats, you probably have a couple of those, but um, you know, some of these songs on here they got like 500,000 views or 500,000 plays or like 1.5 million plays or something, and then the one um 23 million plays, opposed to like most of the rest of the album have like maybe 500,000, maybe 1.5 million or something plays. And Dance All Night's got 23 million. Interesting.
Bro. It's super interesting, and I just wanted to like touch back on like this genre. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so let me just get back to this, because it's June 19 of 2012. This album comes out, and it's the second studio album. It's not the first album. Their first album is Any Port in a Storm, that came out in 2008. So that one is kind of like they didn't have their sound dialed in just yet. I mean, that's one to check out. And obviously, we chose this album because I think this is the standard, like the real time where they got their sound. And I'll touch about their couple other albums out later, but This one came out, second studio album, 2012, June 19th, and it's 49 minutes 53 seconds, and it has some super big bangers on this. I mean, like big guys. What were you just talking about? You know, let's get into the tracks here, because the tracks are super amazing. There's 16 tracks on this bad boy. I went through my list and I like checked off the songs that I thought I was gonna be like, let's talk about, and I checked off like what 15 out of the 16 that I wanted to talk about. And I hate to be this guy, and we're gonna do our little catchphrase here. Well, at least mine, anyways. This is a front to back, top to bottom, listen through. You cannot escape this album, how good it is. Like, each time I listen to this album, like when I first listened to it with you back in 2018, I had like 4 tracks that I really liked on this. And then like as it progressed, more and more and more. And like now I can't really distinguish. Like each track is just fantastic on this. But how many albums do they have in total? I think they have what, eight studio albums now?
Yeah, and let me just mention one thing before we get into the tracks. There is on my observations of this album, me having the original a CD copy of it. The order of the
Oh,
song,
nice.
the first song, there's a second here. Yes,
It's not a rival.
it's Arrival. Yes, then Cabin by the
Okay.
Sea, right?
Yes.
And
Skies.
then what's that?
The Skies is the third one or not?
Yes, Disguise is the third song. So there's 2 different
Okay.
albums out there that have 2 different orders.
Oh,
Yeah, and I guess it's up to your discretion whether um you can listen to both of them and see which flow you like the best. But the one that I like the best definitely is Arrive being first, Cabin by the Sea second song, and then third song is Disguise. And when Disguise hit like launches, it just like that launches the rest of the album, right? So yeah, just very very interesting how they have 2 different ones out. Don't know why, but I definitely like that one better.
so is the album cover different for the 2 different arrangements for the album, or no?
I think the border of it might be just slightly different, but the image is almost the same, so that's what threw me off. Yeah,
Or is it just like a digital thing where it's just a compilation on the internet where they have different arrangements, or what?
I'm not sure exactly, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. I
I just
didn't know that they had
I
different
I
lineups.
remember it so ingrained the order of the songs in my head that when um when I heard the other version, I was like, this isn't right. This isn't the order that I remember.
Right.
And it screwed me right up. So after like just kind of diving into it
That
more, I
would screw you up.
realized I think there's 2 different order albums out, and I think the other one that's the other order is they cut a couple songs out of it, and I don't know why. So
Interesting.
you want the one that has the most tracks on it. 16 tracks.
Right, and that's 16. That's the one you want.
That's right.
Dang, Skippy. I didn't even know that they had 2 different arrangements. You know, some albums do that though. Like if you release an LP or something like that, or the record company says that like your top songs, we need to have that like bango on the CD or something like that. Is that the case? Is like they put the top tracks maybe on the CD that was released instead of like, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but that's crazy that there's 2 different arrangements, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So did you want to share
All
your
right.
favorite songs right away, or you want me to go first for that?
Man, what else do I have to say about this one? Oh, for our listeners out there that don't know why they're called Dirty Heads, I don't know if you know this, but I checked this one out, and their family members, their brothers and their moms and dads called them uh, uh, Jay and Duddy. I guess we should get into that too, but the two members, they were called Dirty Heads when they were kids because they were into reggae and extracurricular activities and whatnot. So that's how they got their name. Like Dirty Heads was from their family members. It's not like another reference to anything like that. That was a family name that was given to them. So that's how they got their names, Dirty Heads. Just to let you know.
It's like a
Other than that,
it's like a
yeah,
nickname.
go ahead.
It's like a nickname for both of them, then, eh?
It's a nickname for both of them,
Yeah.
yeah. And they grew up together. They were friends in high school. Like these guys they've known each other for a long time. It's a whole big story. And for people that don't know who the two guys we're talking about, we got Dirty J, which has the super sweet flow on the vocals, just a real nice tone. He's a great vocalist. And then you got Duddy B, and Duddy V is like just a little more hoarse and maybe not as eloquent as Dirty J, but my personal favorite of the two is Duddy. Duddy B is my favorite because he's just a little more raw, a little more out there. And if you take the time to go ahead and click on these guys and check who these guys are, I mean, you can decide if you're a Dirty J guy or if you're a Duddy B guy. But I'm a Duddy B guy, and if you notice, there's a resemblance to Duddy B and my host here, Jody D. Maybe they sound similar. I don't know, but I'm a big Duddy B guy. He's all about the extracurriculars and he plays the acoustic really nice, and his progression I think through the albums is really good too. Like his vocal styling has come a long way. That's my favorite guy. But what about you? You like Dirty J or you like the Duddy B's? What are you up to?
I think both of them together, that's what makes
Obviously.
the magic, right? But I like me some Duddy for sure.
Yeah.
But they both play their part. They're
They
essential.
do. They do.
They're
They really
essential
do.
for each other to make that happen for sure. And such is the whole part of all the band, right? To get the sound, you got to have everybody in there. If you don't have everybody in there, then there's sound being taken away. So everybody's at value, absolutely. But
The Dirty J and the Duddy B, like his vocal styling mixed with Duddy's rawness, just like has this nice back and forth, and the harmonizing with the J, and then the more rap kind of style or whatever kind of flow you want to call that from Duddy. That's a whole nother video we could make, but those two together just make a really good product, really good sound.
I think I just relate with Duddy just because I play guitar as well, I guess. So that might be
Yep.
why. Who knows, right? But they definitely have they're very good live. If you haven't ever checked them out online, check them out at the Red Rocks. That's definitely very interesting.
So
But yeah,
good.
I don't know. Always listening to this album, Disguise and The Hipster, for me, have always been my favorite two songs on there. Just because of the heavy horns, but great lyrics. Definitely, they refer to Led Zeppelin if you catch some of that, but they refer to a lot of things that you might not catch listening to it the first time through. So you'd probably have to listen to it multiple times to actually catch up with all the lyrics and little things that they throw in there. But yeah, how about you? Do you have a couple? You said 1 through 15, right? But um,
Oh man, I'm gonna give you a couple tracks that I really like off of this, and I'm not gonna go through all of them because I think all of them are unique and really awesome in their own particular way.
yeah.
But I did Best of Us is probably like my favorite track off this album. It's just because like what he's describing in this song is a girlfriend that doesn't get mad when you're all drunk and stuff, and they get along together, and she likes her beer cold and her whiskey straight, like just having a great I think it's about a relationship if you get into that song just a little bit, or it's a fantasy relationship where that's the kind of girlfriend that you'd like. But if my girlfriend didn't get mad when I was all drunk and stuff like that, that'd be great. I love Best of Us. I think that's a cool track. Uh, We Will Rise, I think, is a super cool jam. Just got that cool flow to it, real good stuff. And if I had to say, like Hipster, probably obviously very good stuff, and probably Disguise would be the next one. I like Disguise. The lyrics on that is really good. And then if I had to pick one more, I'll pick two more. Mongo Push is going to be another one. I love that. We started on the wrong foot. Called it Mongo Push. Yeah, I love that. And then Dance All Night. I think Dance All Night is a really good track. I made a little note here in my book. It's like positivity emanates from this album. There's lots of positivity that you can find in the lyrics and the content. And if you're feeling down and you're just not having a good day, you can put this album on. Like pretty much anything from Dirty Heads, you can put it on and it will boost you up. You'll find lyrical content or just the tone, whatever you want to find in it. It'll take you to a positive place. It really will. And I think they do that really well. So yeah, I know when life is boring, write your own story. That's a lyric from this album. It's a not from this album, but from the Dirty Heads. It's a beautiful content. You know, positivity, great lyrics. Yep, it's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That's the reason why I like to share about it. And I don't know. I think you nailed it right on the head with that. Let's just give a shout out to Rome, who's on Mongo Push for the
Yep,
Sublime with Rome there, and then Modest Yahoo is on Dance All Night, who's another reggae star,
he's a Marley.
another artist. But yeah, I think we're pretty much almost covered up. But we want to run right into you want to rate this thing or what?
Oh, let's run into it. I mean, I could sit here and yap about this for another hour. Unfortunately, our YouTube channel won't allow that, and everybody would get bored. But yeah, I'm gonna give this. Man, this had such a time. I just want to get into time and place just for like 30 seconds. You gave this to me. I found this, and then I found like so many other great bands, but there's so many other great Dirty Head albums. Their fifth studio album, self-titled. If you like this, you're gonna like that even more. That's like one of my favorite albums by this band. So go ahead and check that out. But we thought this would be a good introduction, and that's what we kind of do. Um, yeah, I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this a 9, a solid 9. This is a 9 for me. I would give it more, but I tend to be a little more generous on albums, so I'm just gonna give you a 9 out of 10 because this is mint.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 9.5. Damn near perfect
Ooh,
album.
dose. Wow.
So get it.
I was gonna give it a 9.5 too, and I was like, I always give albums such high ratings. I was like, I'm gonna dial it down for this time, but I, I'm with you. 9 or 9.5. She's right there on the big scale. So
The cusp,
yeah,
the cusp of a perfect album.
it's
On the,
pretty much there.
on the cusp. Yes. So
Right on.
if you like our content, give us a subscription if you like. If not, then we'll check you in for the next one. Leave some comments below. Any last thoughts, Crow?
Just thank you everybody out there for that's watching, and like my man said, like, subscribe, hit that buttons, and share it around, and we'll come up with the next one next time. So yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. You've made our videos exponentially grow, so we appreciate that.
Have a good night, everyone. Next time on Rockin' Music Reviews.